All right, there we go. Happy Tuesday morning, everybody. Thanks for being patient with me. Running a little bit behind again. Had to get my coffee in with my new coffee cup here. Going to be getting a lot more of these out soon. If anybody is interested in some cool Motus RX swag here. So hopefully everybody had a great weekend. We are in our last week, I believe. This is going to be true of Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. online. So starting next week, we will be doing our live class again on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock in person. Going to be limited to 5 people. And then we're still going to offer the online version on Tuesdays. So for those of you that want to get both and double dip, that's great. If you're just looking to do the online and not come in yet, we'll still offer that version. And then you always have the replays on YouTube, on our Motus RX Physical Therapy YouTube page to go back and watch over, especially as we get towards the end here of the online stuff. It's getting more challenging. So if you want to go back and look at some of the more introductory stuff, you can certainly do that on our YouTube page. So thanks for hopping on. It's Build a Better Back virtual class number 19. Believe it or not, does not seem like that's possible, but it's been a while since we started the class. So we're going to put all these together in a nice, neat package here when all is said and done. They're only going to be on our YouTube channel for 100% free for so much longer. So make sure you take advantage of that, and then we'll let you know when we got the entire package all put together for you. Hop on, let us know if you're watching live, Team Live, type into the comments, Team Live. If you're on replay, type in Team Replay. Had a great weekend, took a trip up north and had a good time at our cabin. Huge blessing and gratefulness to be able to do that and reset. That was our first venture really back out into the world, so to speak, other than our own little cocoon here. So that was good. But yeah, let us know how everything's going. Let us know that you're hanging in there. We are here for you in any capacity, in person or online, like I said. And if you're having any specific issues, make sure you reach out. We're here for you. We got our summer hours Tuesday through Friday, off Mondays, but we've got early morning hours, evening hours, anything we need to do to get you in here to get you feeling better. And if we haven't heard from you in a while, we'll certainly be reaching out to you just to check in and make sure everything's going well. All right. So since we're running behind, we're going to kick off with the warm up here, and we're going to work on getting the juices flowing, getting the heart rate going, and activating a couple key areas. So starting off, usual suspect here. We're going to go high march. Drive that knee high, pause at the top, hold that position for a split second, and try to keep your trunk nice and tall. Opposite knee drive and elbow arm drive. Again, on the stance leg here, squeeze that cheek, drive that knee high. If you want to get a little bit of movement with this, you got some space, again, you can kind of step one right to the other, get a little bit of that forward, maybe go backwards, change your direction a little bit, pause at the top, and take a second to engage that hip, activate that hip. Good. Now we're going to go a little mini lunge, rotate over the knee that's forward. If you're advanced and been doing this class for a while, try to take this lunge a little bit deeper, and then also think about opening up the shoulders on that rotation. Good. All right, so that's separating the upper body from the lower body. Nice stable lower body, rotating our shoulders and our spine up top. Now the complete opposite. All of your weight on the left foot. I'm going to go all my way to my left foot here. Keeping the shoulders like two headlights pointing straight forward. We're going to sweep up and over, tap, and then come up, back, and around. Trying to keep that trunk again nice and upright, squeezing the stance leg, squeezing the cheek, engaging that thigh, hip. Nice sweeping circle with the right leg. Good, switch over to the opposite side. It's just tapping the toe down, trying to keep all of your weight on this stance leg. Big sweep up and over. Notice shoulders again staying straight ahead. It's like I'm separating my lower body from my upper body here. One more each direction. Good. Okay. Now, if you have the ability to, we're going to go into a little bit of a single leg knee tuck. So step, grab one knee, try to pull it up towards the chest. Step, alternate sides here. Again, working a little bit on that balance, stability, and then getting some mobility on the hip that we're pulling on. One more each side here. Good, last one. Excellent. All right, getting into our side lunges now. So we're just keeping one foot totally still, stepping out sideways, kick the hips back, spine stays nice and neutral. So from the side view here, we're kicking the hips back, trying to almost imagine that there's a stool that's a little bit lower there, and I'm just going to tap my bottom on that stool and then come back together. Show you from the opposite side here. Good, switch sides. This trail leg stays straight, feel a nice stretch on that inner thigh, and then should feel this outer hip and back of the leg loading properly there. Nice neutral spine. Good. Very good. Now, a little bit of a skater movement here. So we're going to push our body sideways and then kick our heel to our bottom. We're going to work side to side. You're going to get a little bit of that single leg stance and balance, kind of catching the weight shift and preventing yourself from excessively moving, and then just trying to get a little bit of a hamstring curl, kind of heel to bottom move there. And I appreciate everybody that's hopping on this morning. I am not able to tell from Facebook's new live producer here who is hopping on. So please, if you're hopping on, checking things out, type into the comments. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know who's on. Let me know what's good. Good, we're going to shift over to the wall here. Change the angle a little bit. So, get some body weight into the wall now. We're going to get nice kind of angle into the wall. Feet are away from the wall. Get some work through the shoulders now. Like you're trying to push the wall over and then drive the knee up and across. Alternate sides. Again, much like before, try to keep the shoulders square and rotate the lower body underneath those stable shoulders. Good, and then we're going to switch and go into more of the small T. So we're going to thread the needle through a little bit closer to the wall now. I'm going to slide one hand up, take the other arm, thread it through, lean into that wall, maybe get a nice snap, crackle, pop through the back. Leverage the wall, use your body weight in the wall to get a little extra stretch at the end range there. Good. One more each way. Very good. Very, very good. So that's a very, very solid warm-up, a way to activate a couple different key areas, get some movements going, get the heart rate elevated a little bit. Hopefully everybody's doing well. We're going to work down to the ground here after another sip of coffee. And I sent out an email yesterday. If you haven't yet, or you haven't heard, we do have some new faces in the clinic, so make sure you reach out, and if you're here, say hi, introduce yourself. Haley and Becky are both off and running, doing great things for us. One of them is helping us continue to get our word and our message out and try to get in front of more people that we can help. And the other one is here to help you make sure that your experience is good. You have everything you need, whether you're a first-time person or you're a current client. So make sure you reach out and say hello. And so far, we're doing really well with them. It's great to have them here and join the team. So that's an announcement for sure. If you haven't heard yet, move it to the ground. Get yourself comfortable. Again, we're going to breeze through some of the mobility stuff here early on. All right. We're going to start with the feet a little bit wider than shoulder width, and we're just going to work side to side. Again, some of these, especially when it comes to mobility, some of these basics, they don't necessarily change. Your body might change from day to day, but these mobility efforts, they don't have to be earth-shattering, complicated things. Much like the lyrics of a good song, they don't change. The song stays timeless. It still gets stuck in your head even when you don't want it to. That's kind of like this mobility work. It doesn't drastically change. If you do it consistently and you do it well, you're going to benefit greatly from it. Good, let's take the right ankle over the left knee. Keep working side to side here. Same thing, much like on the wall, you might get a couple snap, crackle, pops as you get into some new ranges. As long as those are not painful, that's good. That's a good sign. It means the body is going through some ranges of motion that it hasn't in a while. Go and switch sides. Maybe you're starting to reach new or different positions that you haven't in a while. As always, take note in differences side to side. Maybe you just spend a little bit more time on one versus the other. Maybe you focus on your breathing a little bit more, whatever it might be. Good. Now we're going to get right into our rotational flow here from our back. So we're going to bring our arms out to a big T. We're going to lift the feet up off the ground. Hips and knees are both 90 degrees, and then I have my feet and knees together if possible. And what we're going to do is we're going to slowly drop the lower body, feet and knees to one side. Try to keep my shoulder blades and my arms flat. And then at the bottom position here, I'm going to close the book. And then coming back, we open the top half. I use my muscles, my core muscles, working against gravity to pull the lower body up and over to the opposite side. Slow, controlled down. Good. Breathe. Melt into that position. And then close the book up top. Then reverse back. Open the top half. And let's just work. Focus on your breathing. Work side to side here, slow and controlled. Good 3 to 4 times. especially on that way down with the legs. Slow and controlled. Have your body do the work. Don't just let gravity take you. Right here, slow and controlled. Keep those shoulders flat. Have your body control it. That's where we get some nice gains in terms of mobility through our mid, upper back and working on the core muscles here. One more time each way. Good. Now, reset yourself a little bit. We're just going to add a little bit of a wrinkle to it here. So once the lower body goes to one side, what we're going to do now is we're going to drop, lower, slow, controlled. Now from here, before I close the top half, I'm going to kick my top leg out, straight, close it, open back up, bend that knee back, and then go over to the other side. Top leg comes straight, pull the toes back towards the nose if you can, close the book, keep that leg straight, open it back up, bend the knees back together, side to side. So we're just adding a little bit of knee extension. That top leg comes straight, close it down, open it back up. Good. A couple more each way here. Just adding a little extra tension down through that back side. Again, if you feel like you got a nerve that's a little cranky or something like that, you may want to be careful and cautious on these. But really, it should feel like a general stretch and tension increase down the back side of that hip and leg through there. One more going over to my left. Good. Very good. All right. Reset yourself here. Do enough of those, you end up moving about 20 feet from where you started. Make sure I don't end up over in Suite E here. So, we're going to go into some hip activation. So, we're going to work on glute strength and work on some of the back side. We're going to do a little superset between the back side and the front side. So, we're going to go arms up together towards the sky. We're going to lift the hips up. Now, again, before we do that bridge, for a lot of us, what we need to focus on is flattening the back, all right, and then driving through the feet up. We're going to kick one leg straight out, come back in, down, going back up, opposite side. So we're just starting to warm up that back side a little bit. Goal as you kick out is to not let the hips turn and not to let the pelvis drop back down towards the ground. Good. Now, adding a little bit of speed and impulse, like we talked about last week. The next step is adding a little bit of speed and impulse. We're going to talk about the importance of this at the end today. So, as I come up off the ground, now I'm trying to stabilize, hold myself up on one side. I'm going to take this other leg out, do a little kick, catch myself, and then back in and down. Up, leg comes straight, a little kick out to the side, some impulse, control yourself, back down. Up, kick out, good. Up, out, good. Good. See how quickly you can kick out, how far you can kick out without your body totally toppling over here. Good. Last one on the left side here. Good. Very good. Take a second, pull the knees to the chest. Just kind of rock the egg out a little bit. that lower back, nice little massage. You can work a little bit side to side here if you want. Now we're going to work on a speed-based movement for the front of the core. All right. Now what I would say here is, if you haven't done these exercises or this variation of this exercise before, maybe start without any weight. I'm going to grab just the tiniest bit of weight just to give myself a little bit of a challenge. But again, the pattern here, or the goal here, is to start to get your body, your spine, some of your core muscles to tolerate and react to speed. I shouldn't say react, but tolerate and be able to take on some speed and some burst. So a lot of stuff that we've done, we've gotten into new ranges of motion, we've explored different use of different muscles, but now we're trying to explore some speed-based things, all right? Because life, there's going to be points in time when you have to respond and react and use your body quickly, and it's about how fast can you generate force through these muscles. So what we're going to do here is just the bottom half of a Turkish Getup. So you don't necessarily need to know what that means, but for those of you that have done these before, this is kind of what it's going to look like. So I'm going to take all of my weight that I have in the left hand here. I'm going to straighten out the right leg, left knee is bent, and I'm going to angle my right arm out to the side. So what we're trying to do from here now, if you don't want to do weight, that's fine. What I'm trying to do here is see how quickly I can burst up onto my elbow. So I'm starting in this position, and I want to burst my weight up. I want to push the weight up towards the sky and prop up onto my right elbow here that's out to the side. So what's going to look at something like is keeping that weight straight up and down, that arm straight up and down. I'm going to use my midsection and drive up onto my elbow, and then I'm going to go slow and controlled back down onto my back. I'm basically uncurling my spine back, segment by segment, back onto the ground. The weight stays straight up and down the whole time. It's a quick burst up, breathe, prop, slow and controlled, back down. Uncurl that spine back towards the ground. Good, up. Alright, and you can see how if you add too much weight, it's going to be very tough for you to do that. Reverse back down. What I'd like to see happen is that you're able to do this generating the force from here and not having to get this whole leg and get your momentum going. So a lot of people, if they have too much weight or they're really struggling with this, then they're going to kind of do this sort of a thing. And that leg's going to come up. I want you to try to keep your right leg flat and just focus on speed through the midsection and then reverse back down slow and controlled. Give me two more good ones here. Again, no weight is fine. Just reach towards the sky and keep that arm straight up and down as you prop up and down onto your elbow. Good. Now, there's something very important to be said for individuals, and especially as we age. There's something very important to be said for you being able to get up off the ground by yourself without any help. So without the use of a chair or a stool or an ottoman. And this is kind of the prerequisite of that. This is the first thing that you have to be able to do, is to kind of get yourself up off of the ground from a flat position. So propping yourself up a little bit onto an elbow, onto a knee. So there's more than just working on core for speed here. There's function and safety that comes with this as well. So opposite side now, I have the weight straight up and down towards the sky. My left elbow is kind of angled out to the side. I'm going to use my midsection to drive rapidly as I exhale up to the sky, and then slow and controlled back down. Reverse, reverse, reverse that curve back down. Drive up. Reverse back down, slow and controlled. Again, the midsection is doing the majority of the work here, your core, quote unquote, but we're getting nice work through the shoulder and we're starting to work on that shoulder blade strength and shoulder stability as well, as I keep that weight straight up and down there. Now, a lot of you will probably notice differences here side to side. Typically, us right-handers, this way feels quite a bit easier than when the left hand is up towards the sky. Give me 2 more good ones. Good. Very good. So, in both of those ways, from the bridge pattern and now kind of more of the sit-up or the curl pattern, you have some strategies to introduce some speed elements to that, which again is going to be very, very important. We have to have mobility, we have to have strength, and we have to be able to demonstrate control first, which we have in the first few weeks of the class. But now we have to start training up a little bit of that speed, having your body get used to moving fast and kind of how quickly can you use your own muscles. We're going to work onto our side here. All right. Now we're going to go into that side plank, and we're going to start incorporating some speed from here as well. So nothing will drastically change about our positioning to start. The elbow is directly under the shoulder. We have the knees and feet stacked, and what we're going to do is we're just going to come up, kind of warm up that side and that shoulder a little bit. About 5-second holds, hinge the hips or unhinge the hips down and back. Good. Short little rest, drive right back up. Get 3 or 4 good warm-up planks here. Good. All right, now, how do we add speed? Well, we do things that we've already done, and we just do them faster. So one of the best ones to do here is going to be, once we get up in the side plank position, how quickly can you kick that leg straight out, pause, and then back in, slow and controlled back in. All right, come up, stabilize, get that leg out fast, back down, back down. So now there's this same side plank variation we've been doing. We're just focusing on doing it explosively and then slow and controlled back in. Good. Give me 2 more here. One more. Up, explode out, speed, control it back in. Good. All right, let's switch over to the other side. Very, very good. So you can see how we're just taking some of the past patterns, past strategies we've used, and we're working on developing a little bit of speed within these patterns now. Good. Side plank, start feet stacked, knees stacked, and we're coming up, and elbows directly under the shoulder. Find that side plank position, slow and control, unhinge. Up. Top leg, we're going to extend out rapidly. Okay, here's the speed element. So we're up, out fast, slow and controlled back in, hinge back down. Up, out fast, slow and controlled back down. We're up, out fast, explosive, pause, back in, slow and controlled, and back down. Up, explode out, down, slow and controlled. One more here. Up, explode out, back down, slow and controlled. Very, very good. Okay, excellent. So we're going to take a little bit of time on all fours here. Just work on our flexion extension flow. So get the feet together, toes relaxed, but then knees a little bit wider than shoulder width. And we're going to sit back on the heels. Let the head and chest just drop down slowly. And take a 20-30 second breathing break here. Good. Slowly walk the hands forward. Let the hips and low back drop. And breathe here. 10 seconds or so. Again, lock the elbows out. Let gravity take the low back and pelvis down to the ground. Ease into it. Good. Transition back. Sitting back on the heels. And walking back forward again. Letting the hips and pelvis drop down. Look up towards the sky this time if you want. Squeeze the cheeks, kind of engage the glutes a little bit to get a little extra healthy stress through the low back. If you want to dig the toes into the mat, lift the thighs. Get a little bit extra there as well. Okay, one more time each direction. The hands forward slightly, let the hips and pelvis drop. Squeeze the buns, lift the thighs if you want. Good. And here we go. We're going to go into tabletop position. Again, speed is the name of the game here today. Not necessarily speed in terms of how many reps can we get through in a set amount of time. But if I'm going to give my body a challenge, let's take that force production and make it happen fast. All right? So we're going to go back to an old pattern here, kind of an opposite arm, opposite leg pattern. I'll show you from an angled position here. And we're just going to add elements of speed to it again. So first thing that I'm going to do, get my knees right under my hips, hands right under my shoulders. We're going to extend the opposite arm and leg with quite a bit of a speed goal. All right, so it's just out, stabilize it, good, and back in. Out fast, stabilize it, back in. Now again, it's how quickly can we go into this opposite arm and leg position without losing our balance or our center of mass. Have your body react to that impulse and then bring it back in slow and controlled. Good. Now, after the extension and the pause, right? Now it's fast, elbow to knee underneath, back out, slow and control, okay? So explode, pause, elbow to knee underneath, fast, and reverse back down. Fast, pause, fast there, good. Again, if you're pushing yourself, that speed is going to create a little bit of an instability, and you're going to have to almost catch your bearings for a second there. That is perfect. That's actually what we want. As long as there's no shoulder, back, or other pain, we want to push ourselves out of our comfort zone a little bit with that speed. Let's get 2 more each side. Good. And last one. Good. All right. So that's the bird dog with some speed there. A really good way to start challenging the shoulders and the core a little bit differently. And again, if you felt yourself, because of the speed, having to wobble a little bit and then catch yourself, perfect, right? That's where we want to be. We want to be in the zone of forcing our muscles, because we're moving a little bit faster, to have to react. Now let's just get into a little bit of our all fours to standing flow quickly here. And again, we've done this before. If you're new with us, kind of hang on, do your best. But we're going to go through this with some speed now. All right, so it is right foot. We'll start on the right side. I'm all fours. I'm going to take that right foot right out to the outside of the hand. I'm going to open up with some tempo, come back down, up tall, walk that foot in. Now my rotation over is a little bit faster, right? Not a whip so much that we kind of crank on our back, but a little bit of a tempo there with that. And then how fast can you drive up to a standing position? All right. So each movement, just a little bit more speed with it now. Down, quick turn, stabilize, out. You can pause again in between and control. Left side, foot, out. Good. Right side. Again, pause in between, a little bit of speed. Each side up. First back down. Left side. Last one. Good. Very good. Excellent. All right, we're going to finish up on our feet here a little bit. Great form. Thanks, Nick. Hey, appreciate that, buddy. Hope all is well with you. We're going to get into more of a standing position here. Little coffee break, I apologize. All right, here we go. So, same patterns that we worked on Thursday. All right. Again, adding speed now. So once we started mastering the actual positions and we've started understanding that we can stabilize and balance a little bit in those positions, those are all good things. But just like when we're doing any rehab in here, or when we're training somebody, training an athlete, or training anybody to improve something, as soon as you master something, as soon as something gets too easy, we got to make it harder. So today, the good news is the only way that we're making things harder is just by adding a little bit of speed with it. So we're going to go into that kickstand position again. All of our weight through our left foot, toes for balance on the right. We're kicking the hips back. Good. All right. And what I want to work on here, we're going to just get a couple warm-up hinges to load that left side. Remember, weight is through my left heel, toes are light, and I'm light on my right toes as well. Okay? Just forcing one side to do a little bit more of the work. Hips go back. Now, the speed element here is, as I get down into my position, load, stabilize, and then bam, out, control back in, and up. All right? As you add speed, you may lose a little bit of the range of motion. So I would, for now, I'd rather you just get here back and in and up than worrying about having this really, really big scissors pattern. So again, it's speed. Come back, find that control point, and then boom, out, back and controlled, and up. Back, boom, speed, own it, come back up, tall. Give me two more here. Hips back, loading that hinge, light on the right toes, drive back, fast, in and up. Okay. One more, focus on stability. Here, drive it, up, good. All right. So this is where it gets a little bit scary. Anytime you start adding some speed to things, you might get a little bit timid, so that's okay. Limit your range of motion. Don't try to scissor as much to the hips. Maybe don't go into the hinge pattern quite as much, right? But do your best to mimic what we did Thursday and then add some speed on top of that. So now I'm on my right side, hinging, toes are light on my left foot, all my weight's through my right for the most part. Drive back fast, come up tall. And you guys tell me if you see any differences here side to side, because I am anticipating seeing some. Here, speed, good. Good. One more. Very good. All right. Catch your bearings for a second. We got one more angle to try here. We're going to go a little bit more onto our side kick out. So a little point here to take note of. As you're doing these, it is okay to feel your back working. Right? As I do those and I run through those, I feel a couple different things. I feel my ankle wobbling to support me. I feel my hamstring kind of loading and stretching. I definitely feel the bottom on my one side that's loaded working, but then I do feel my low back a little bit, and that's okay. The nature of the exercise, as we add speed and we get into these challenging dynamic positions a little bit, everything's going to join the party. And so the goal is to make sure that we're having everything join the party efficiently, as a good, solid team. It's when we have problems where we're not moving efficiently, and then we have to take on that speed, or then we have to take on that dynamic position. That's when we have problems in the back. So just because you feel the back with these, it's not a bad thing. Now, certainly don't let it get worse as you go, in terms of don't let it become, symptomatic or painful, so to speak. But as I was working there, I feel that lower back working a little bit, especially on the side that I'm trying to stabilize a little bit. So that's totally normal and okay, and we actually want that a little bit. All right, we're going to do the exact same pattern. Now, our speed-based element, as we kick back, hinge back, our speed-based element is kickstand leg, fast out to the side, slow and controlled in. All right. So this is going to be a little bit more challenging from that side-to-side stability. Good, back in. Give me 6 good ones here. Hinge, fast, own it, back up. Again, as you accent speed, you might have to limit your range of motion a little bit more, okay? But you want to be careful. Just because we're working on speed now, you don't want there to be huge compensations or anything like that. Good, let's switch over to the opposite side. Last thing today, you are rocking it and doing awesome. What you might find is you add a little bit more of these speed, pop, and then control it back. You might find that in general, it's a different kind of workout for you. Doesn't seem like a lot, but as you start adding in some of those bursts, you might notice the heart rate goes up a little bit. You might notice the fatigue goes up a little bit. And that is a good thing. Again, on these side to sides, try to watch any compensation. Again, my right side, I just seem to get a little bit more shifty here through the trunk. Same patterns we did Thursday, just adding a little bit of speed with it. Excellent. Very, very good work today. Appreciate everybody who hopped on, said hello. Those of you that hopped on, and I didn't get to see who was on, I apologize again. Facebook changed things. I really only seem to be able to know who's on if you comment. So appreciate that. Thanks for hopping on. Hope everybody's off to a good Tuesday. So wanted to go into just explaining a little bit of the speed-based element today. This week coming up, we're going to do a podcast on this, but I'll give you a little sneak preview of what I'm talking about. Everybody that comes through my doors, we talk a little bit about before they graduate, especially with something like low back, especially with something like lower body. I always ask them if they feel ready to pass the chase by a bear test, okay? And this stems off of, in my time in network, more traditional-based physical therapy, the term medical necessity was thrown around a lot in terms of approving more visits or justifying why somebody should continue on with me. And medical necessity was the term that was used commonly, and I always just thought it was kind of a joke, right? It was, if somebody had a shoulder problem and they could raise their arm 180 degrees, well, they were done, right? They're as good as they needed to be. Somebody had back pain and they could, get up out of bed and go to work, well, they were done. It wasn't medically necessary anymore. Here, in these four walls, our definition of medical necessity is the chased by a bear test. So if, for instance, especially this summer, you're out camping and you wake up to the rumblings of a nice, friendly brown bear, would you be able to get out of your position and get the heck out of there with some speed, with some tempo, without completely paying for it? Now, obviously, adrenaline and whatnot's going to kick in that scenario, but the point being is could you do that? Could you get up off the ground and move quickly? Could you get up out of a chair and move quickly? Could you stop whatever you're doing and move quickly and kind of change course without your body drastically paying for it? And that's the chased by a bear test with us. So we're going to go in more in depth with that this week on a podcast and explain kind of really why that's important. But the traditional methods of just getting your range of motion back, just getting stronger in a certain area, being out of pain, right? These don't necessarily completely check all the boxes, because all of us at some point in our life, whether it's a sport, a hobby, a physical activity, or it's something that we don't necessarily want to happen, we're going to need to be able to react and respond and move fast. And I want to make sure that when somebody's done in their time with us, or when they're moving on to their maintenance plan, or they're moving on to their home programming, or they're moving on to their fitness life, that you are for sure going to be able to pass that chase by a bear test. And that's a little bit of what we got into today. All these things we hopefully have good range of motion to do. We hopefully have developed some strength and some stability. We've explored different variations of movement to where you're more confident now. Now it's about speed and can you do it and get in these positions rapidly, respond to these rapid movements. That's what we're starting to get ourselves into at this point in the class. And as I said, you might notice that it's a different kind of workout. So make sure with whatever's going on that you can pass that chase by a bear test, and we can help you do that if you're not quite sure how. But don't forget about the importance of speed and reaction when it comes to what you're going to need to do in everyday life, or sport, hobby, physical activities, gym-related activities, and potentially work. All right? So, everybody, great job today. Again, we are back Thursday at 9 o'clock, and then next week on Thursday, I believe that is the 18th, we're going to start our in-person low back class again, 9 o'clock, and then on Tuesday at 9 we'll keep the online digital version. So, and I'll have to see how it works potentially to video our Thursday session that's live and in person for those that don't want to come in again. So that's all for today. Hope everybody is off to a great start to their week, and thanks again for hopping on. We will see you soon.